can you clarify a little bit about the concept of ummi? We're saying that the Prophet here was obviously not illiterate in the physical sense. He's able to read and write. So what exactly are we saying by his illiteracy or the word ummi here? That he was an ummi prophet? Are we saying that he was unable before he received wahi or before he received his ruhaniyat? Are we saying he was spiritually unable to read? Is that what we're saying?
Good question. Yes. So remember the very first ayat, it says, read, and he said, I could not read. So in the Ruhaniyat, there may be things that we may see that we may not understand initially. And what will we say? That I don't understand what is shown to us. What is shown to us? Because we cannot understand that. But eventually or slowly, if you are the true follower of the Imam with the Amr of the Imam, and if you have the Ismi Azam, and if you continue your ibadat, and continue to receive the talimat of the Imam, you will be able to understand what is being shown to you. यहाँ पर जो shown है is on two different levels, at least. There are three levels. Third level is a little bit hard to explain, but I'll try. Let's try all three levels. The first one is your dream. So signs could be shown in your dream that you may or may not understand. I'm talking about the dreams of the Mu'mineens, okay? I'm not talking about the normal dreams. Dream of the Mu'mineens are very, very important to the Mu'min, because that is one of the avenue Allah used to guide him. So first, the reading or the understanding your dream. Second one is mushahida, the vision. This is the hard part to explain, but I'll try. What are the mushahida or the visions? When a mu'min does the ibadat, when he does the ibadat, even during the daytime when he's doing Giriyadari, or when he's reciting or remembering Allah's name as per Imam's Farman, even during the day he may have visions. He may have visions. If this would happen to a person who does not have a knowledge, he probably will admit himself into some psychiatrist department. Okay, I'm having a vision. That's why I said this is the hard part. But there is the second part is between the dream and your Ruhaniyat. There's the middle part which is called vision. अच्छी लैंग्वेज में हमारे दाइयों ने पीरों ने अल्फाज यूज़ किया है मुशाहिदा, देखना. आपकी आंखें खुली है लेकिन आप ख्वाब देख रहे हैं, लेकिन चूंकि वो ख्वाब नहीं होता है, वो मुशाहिदा होता है.
It's like you're witnessing something, mushahida.
Yeah, you see things. And if you understand, one of my questions was, how did Muhammad was receiving and seeing Jibril for 22 years when no one else could see? So what would be answer now? He was seeing mushahidas. He was having visions that people could not see while he was walking, talking to others. He was receiving revelations.
So the same way when you gave example of headache and the doctor would say, okay, let me do CT scan, MRI, blah, blah, because it's a medical science. In the same way, there is a spiritual science. If we were to understand the spiritual science, we would understand the batin. Sapne mein isme azam aaya. That's batin. Because we don't understand it, we don't believe it.
See? Subhanallah. Let me finish the third part. Give me 1 second. And the third part is the Ruhaniyat. Compared to the first one, dream, which is very limited Ruhaniyat for the moment. Remember, the dreams of the moments are different than other dreams. So, very first one, the dream is also Ruhaniyat for moment, but very limited. The second one, the mushahida, are the second level or the highest level than a dream. he can receive the revelation or the understanding or the talimat through the visions. But in the third part, the difference between third one and first and second is, जब आपका रूहानियत का दरवाज़ा खुल जाता है, so example of that would be the remote control. Whenever you are ready to see something or wanted to understanding, you click the remote control, TV opens up. जब आपके पास रूहानियत के दरवाजे खुल जाते हैं तो कंट्रोल आपके हाथ में होता है, जबकि सेकंड और फर्स्ट में कंट्रोल आपके हाथ में नहीं है. Do we see the difference? I know it's really hard to understand, but at the ilmul yaqeen level, the examples are the dream and the vision and the ruhaniyat. And ruhaniyat is the example of a TV and a remote control. It is in your hand. Whenever you are ready, you cross on the other side and you take, you learn, you understand, and come back to this side. Ji.
There's a follow-up to that. So from this day forward, we should completely remove this ill concept that the Prophet was illiterate in the physically worldly sense. And I think it's important because sometimes we accept our religion even from within our tariqa, from let's say some of the wazin and the step people, they will sometimes repeat the same sources they find online or wherever it is that the Prophet was illiterate. And even our own Ismailis, sometimes we accept this regularly just as we accept other things from there that, oh no, the Prophet could not read and write. And they think it's like a very great thing that he couldn't read and write, but we should completely remove this concept going forward as not a principle of Ismaili tariqa understanding. And actually I have a really nice quote from Pir Nasir Kursa's Zad al-Musaffarin book, which speaks to this if I So actually, first Pir Nasir Kursa quotes Quranic verse 62:2, where in this verse it actually calls all the people ummiyan, illiterate in English, right? But the verse says in 62:2, it is he who has sent among the ummiyan a messenger from amongst themselves, reciting to them his verses and purifying them and teaching them the book and the wisdom, although they were before in clear error. So commenting on this verse, Pir Nasir Kursa says in his Zad al-Musaffarin, in this verse it is also found that before attaining wahi, the messenger was also ummi. Ummi means that the messenger was unable to read the divine writing. So we say that all the people are ummi, unable to read the divine writing. And the messenger before the Holy Spirit conjoined to him was also ummi of the divine writing.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Thank you for sharing.
Should now be clear.
Should be clear for at least us. Should not have.
So today we can say that this morning when we came over here, we were ummi. We did not understand a lot of things, but now we understand something. Then next Sunday we will come back and we will say we were ummi. Because whatever we learn next Sunday, then we will be on the next level. And again, we will be ummi for the next level up. So every single time that we learn and understand next level, compared to that previous level was like we were illiterate.
So I want to add here that during the, it's her turn. Remember when we were talking about that these people who go to first heaven and they see things and they talk about it. A moment, according to the farman of Sultan Muhammad Shah, will never talk about it. Will never talk about it. Why? Because he will say, I am on the first step of the ladder. So do we understand the difference? When we hear people, oh, pahuncha hua hai, and we need to listen to him. We need to understand in our tariqa, there is no pahuncha hua, because we are mu'minin, we are always on the first step of the ladder. Does not mean that he is not pahuncha hua. Do we understand that too? Her question, yes.
So I remember in a different lecture or so, you were talking about like the angels, where it was like angel, Mikael, angel. But why do we need them? Allah can say everything, whatever He wants, whenever He wants. He doesn't need them.
Okay.
Yeah, so the question is that why do we need angels? Jibreel came, why do we need him? Can't Allah talk to us directly?
So, the human nature. Allah said, I have put my nature on human nature. That's Surah 30, Surah Rum, ayat number 30. Okay? If Allah's nature is on the human nature, what is the human nature? We always need a mediator. we need school teachers, we need all these different things. Can we not just make our own TV and our own phone and our own microwave and our own refrigerator? How about we build our own house? Why do we need a construction company? Do we see that? We always need things, a mediator to do things for us. We cannot reach Allah, and that reminds me of one of the other thing, the very ill concept. So everybody listen up this one. People who say, I do not need Imam, I do not need prophets, I don't need anybody. I can directly ask Allah for the forgiveness, and Allah is sufficient enough for me. Because that's what Allah says in Quran. You know what He's saying? Okay. A person who says that Allah is sufficient enough for me, I do not need Imam, I do not need prophets, I do not need teachers, I do not need anybody. You know what he's saying? कि मैं खुद ही प्रॉफिट हूँ, मैं खुद ही इमाम हूँ. क्योंकि इमाम और प्रॉफिट होते हैं वो अल्लाह की तरफ जाने का दरवाज़ा है. They are the intermediary between human or poor people like us and the Allah. We don't have a reach to Him, direct reach. So who do we need? Somebody in the middle. So when we say we don't need Imam or we don't need Prophet, in other words you are saying, I am the Imam. I can talk to Allah myself. I am the Prophet. I talk to Allah myself. जबकि Prophet खुद बोलता है कि मैं भी अल्लाह से बात नहीं करता हूँ, मैं भी जिब्राइल से बात करता हूँ. Do you see that? और what does Imam does? Look at it. हम इमाम से मांगते हैं, इमाम क्या बोलते हैं? इंशाल्लाह. That is the way to show that I'm nobody. That's our humility, and we never say that I can reach directly to Allah, because His Subhan is Allahu Samad, is above all else. There is no reach. So what do? जो हमारे करीब है, और हमारे करीब कौन है? इमाम है. आज पहले पीर थे. जब पीर थे तो हम डायरेक्टली इमाम के पास नहीं जाते थे. फिर दाई थे, तो दाई थे तो हम पीर के पास भी नहीं जाते थे, हम सिर्फ दाई से सीखते थे. फिर दाई नहीं थे तो हम पीर से सीखते थे. पीर नहीं है तो हम इमाम से सीखते हैं. We do not go directly to Allah because we are saying that I am Imam myself, so I don't need Imam. So this is very ill concept कि इमाम की और प्रॉफिट की हमको क्या ज़रूरत है, हम डायरेक्ट खुदा के पास जा सकते हैं. We should not say that.
So this ill concept can be raised at different levels. Why do we need angels? Why do we need teachers? Why do we need imam? Why do we need prophets?
Why do we need parents or teachers?
Anybody, right? So in Bible, which friends interfaith discussion, they would say this verse from Bible that there will be very many false prophets, and they take Mohammed as false prophet, or anybody imam. When we talk about imam, they bring this verse from Bible that there will be very many false prophets. But the understanding of this verse is anyone who says, why do I need angels? Why do I need imam? Why do I need prophet? I can talk to Allah. They are the ones calling themselves prophets, and they are the ones who are false prophets.
जी.
In the earlier you just mentioned that as soon as Mount Hira, the Prophet Muhammad came from the Mount Hira and he was shivering, and Bibi Khatija says, I have been waiting for this day for such a long time. So what does that mean? That means she's already knew? Or if she knew, then how she knew? Or if she was at the level of the prophecy at that time? That she was just waiting for that somebody to claim that I am the Muhammad, or she was, because whenever the prophet came in this world, surrounding that prophet, the family of the prophet, or surrounded that family, they've been waiting for such a long time, because there was some kind of situation was as a politically or ethically was going so wrong that they've been waiting for somebody just like a Messiah to come and to save them, or to save the the humanity at that time. So as the word is said that I've been waiting for that day. So
For
what
such a
is
long
that
time.
theory
Okay.
behind it?
So before you start, I want to read one of the extract from Imam's speech. Mullah says, I do not want you to perceive that women are not valued. Women are very valued. If you look at the history of Islam, Khatija, the Prophet's first wife, had an extremely important role, both in his spiritual life as in his worldly life. What's the date reference?
Uh, the link is there though.
Yeah, I'll share the link with you. The whole speech is there.
So,
So to
Ji.
make this the second thing, the concept, we get rid of this idea that Khadija was only important as a businesswoman, because even that is repeated over and over again for our Ismailis, that Khadija was important because she was his wife, she was a businesswoman, look how great she was, she had her own business going on, but this whole spiritual side, Imam clarified here, important in his spiritual life. So as an Ismaili, we should not think of this Khadija as just a businesswoman and
Yeah.
physical.
So
The
this is
general population probably doesn't even realize
I think for
even
Ismaili,
her worldly importance. They may just think it was just his
Yeah.
wife.
Right.
So,
They have no understanding
yeah,
of that.
as we talked about
yeah.
Prophet Muhammad's lineage all the way to the Ibrahim. So how many of us knew that Khatija was also from the lineage of Ibrahim?
yeah, she was his cousin.
So she was his cousin from the mother's side on the fifth cousin, and on the father's side was the eighth cousin. Meaning if you go eighth grandfather on the father's side of Prophet Muhammad, then Khatija was one of the lineage from him, and from the mother's side, meaning Prophet's mother was also from the family of the same family, and she is from that side, the fifth cousin of Prophet Muhammad.
So they're all
So
considered Banu
she was, huh?
They're all considered Banu Hashim.
Ji.
Bani Hashim.
So she was not some other lady. All right, number one. Number two, what she just mentioned, that I called her, and I think I believe I said that's your question. I called Khatija as a Khatijatul Kubra, Khatija the Great. So we do need to go and do some research, read some articles about Khatija, and from the Ismaili point of view or the Shia point of view, so you would know more about it. And if you don't have anything to read, contact her and she will send you something to read about the Khadija. So you would understand how and why she knew about the Prophet Muhammad. Hold on. And when you ask that, remember he was shivering? What was the shivering? Why was he shivering? There could be another question. Gee. So when you read the article, you will know more, and then you can ask the right question. When you ask the right question, then we will answer you. Okay? So read the article. G.
There are very many questions. I'm sure when you re-listen to the lecture or look at your notes, I think we'll be more organized and we have to discuss every part. This was very comprehensive lecture, right?
So from all this, one thing we need to take, that Prophet Muhammad had highest spirituality. He had the Ruhaniyat, and due to that he received his revelation. And then he continued his journey and went to Miraj, meaning the Ruhani journey does not stop. It continues. It just continues and continues.
ड्रीम के थ्रू जो है वो इसमें आज़म दे सकता
Yeah.
है.
I think her question was more like others who does not have imam.
हाँ.
Yeah. Ji.
So on that question, this idea that other religions and other people and their spirituality and all that, I know we talked about here about the first level and the nearest heaven and first lights, but we also have the concept that there's, and maybe it's for later lecture, but we have like hujjat, the day and night. So is it possible that some of these great personalities throughout history who seem to be, or who actually literally were from other religions, could potentially, we don't know the names, but could potentially, at least in theory, be those hujjats of night who are being guided by the imam?
Yes.
In the Batini sense, right?
Yes, definitely. Because the imam has no limitation. He can guide whomever he wish.
Right. Which is why also we shouldn't
Like you mentioned a few times, don't even speak about other religion, bring it to
Yeah,
yourself.
that's why we don't.
Because we could be speaking about.
That's why I always say, let's talk about us.
You could be speaking about someone who was a Hujjat of 90, you don't even know.
We don't
and
know.
saying, oh, this guy was misguided, he was a different religion, we don't even know what he might have been.
Yeah. Only the problem is when we think that if in other religion, on the first grade level, okay? What you're talking about is on 10th grade level.
Yeah.
Right? So on first grade level you say, oh yeah, किसी भी religion में तो रूहानियत मिल सकती है. Then the problem is, why do we need Imam? Why do we even need to be smiley? If I can be Hindu and get to where I need to go.
So someone who's attained Ruhaniyat, maybe first level of Ruhaniyat, and then they perform their level of miracles or whatever. Is it that they're using up their Ruhani power?
Yes.
And what happens? Like, I mean, do they get degraded?
Yeah.
Do they
Yeah.
achieve
Consequence.
that level?
Consequence. Yeah.
So सबसे पहले, if a Mu'min reaches the first heaven and first level of Ruhaniyat, he will never declare. So if somebody already saying that I have Ruhaniyat,
There's a problem.
there is already a problem. There's already a problem. Second, so there's a story that Sadhu, he reaches a water shore and he wanted to get to the other side of the water. So he asked this man with a canoe, could you give me a ride to the other side? And he said, yeah, I will charge you 2 anna. 2 anna is a 12 cents in our language. 12 cents. So वो बोलता है मैं तो सेज हूँ, I don't have any money. So could you just give me the ride on the other side? वो बोला नहीं, I'm here to make some money. I cannot take it on the other side free. So साधु को थोड़ा जोश आया, and he said, I don't need you, I can just walk on the water. So he walked on the water and got to the other side. As he enters the jungle, Ram या भगवान या जो भी manifested himself in front of him. वो बोलता है कि what did you just do? He said, well, I walked on the water because the guy would not give me a ride on his canoe. And he said, first in Urdu, कि तुमने 2 आने बचाने के लिए अपनी रूहानियत को खर्च कर लिया. To save 12 cents, you use your ruhaniyat. So ruhaniyat is like a saving. On the first level, how much saving do you have? This much. Only this much saving, and you just use it. तो जो हकीकी मोमिन होगा और उसकी जो रूहानियत होगी, अगर वो खर्च करेगा भी तो आपको पता नहीं चलेगा वो अपनी रूहानियत खर्च कर रहा है.
सुभान अल्लाह.
बिकॉज वो रूहानियत को दस्तों की सूरत के अंदर, यानी कि उसको अमानत के तौर पर यूज करता है, क्योंकि वो इमाम की खुदा की अमानत होती है उसके पास, उसके सेंस में उसको यूज करता है. जबकि जो वो होगा जो इल्म के बिगर होगा, चाहे वो इस्माइली हो कि ना हो, जो इल्म के बिगर होगा, वो नॉट अंडरस्टैंड दिस एंड ही विल यूज अप हिज सेविंग. He will use up his saving. That was your question. Ji.
So the same token, you gave example for the Ram. Just coming closer here to the time of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. Everybody heard the missionary name Kararura, right? Kararura जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा रूहानियत में आगे बढ़े हुए थे. एक मरतबा ट्रेन में जा रहे हैं, हमने शायद पहले भी इसको डिस्कस किया है. ट्रेन में जा रहे हैं और कोई एक हिंदू आदमी है जो इमाम सुल्तान मोहम्मद शाह को पसंद नहीं करता है, इस्माइलियों को पसंद नहीं करता है. तो वो कारोरा उसको मालूम है कि ये भी आगा खान का मुरीद है और इस्माइली है, तो जानबूझकर उसको तंग करने के लिए इमाम के बारे में गलत बयानी और बुरे बुरे गलत अल्फाज इस्तेमाल करता है. तो कारोरा थोड़ी देर के लिए तो जो है वो चुप रहा, लेकिन जब उसे बर्दाश्त नहीं हुआ तो ही वॉज रीडिंग अ न्यूज़पेपर, राइट, एंड देन बट ही जस्ट गॉट बर्न. सो he just looked in the eyes of the other guy, and then the next session Karora just stepped out. What happened right after that, the train started moving and this guy had a terrible pain in his stomach, और वो तड़पने लगा और नीचे गिर गया और उसने कहा कि भाई ट्रेन को रोको, वो आदमी जो अभी उतर गया है उसने मेरा पेट में दर्द करना शुरू कर दिया है, उसने मेरे पेट में दर्द करना शुरू किया है. Anyway, the story stops right here. The Kararora used to go to Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah every other day for Jamaati purposes, alright? So next morning when he goes to Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's first statement is कि हे कालारोड़ा, अब तो तुमने लोगों के पेट में दर्द करना भी शुरू कर दिया. तो कालारोड़ा, he says, वो जलाल में आ गया और उसको ऐसा था कि he did a very good job yesterday because
शाबाश मिलेगी
कि मुझे शाबाशी मिलेगी. तो कहते हैं कि हाँ इमाम, आपको अगर कोई बुरा भला कहे तो मैं कैसे चुप रह सकता हूँ, मैं जरूर उसको जो है वो कुछ न कुछ तो कर दूंगा. तो इमाम कहता है कि हमने अगर आपको रूहानियत दी है तो किसी का पेट में दर्द करने के लिए नहीं दी है, बल्कि लोगों की रूहानी ताकत को ऊपर चढ़ाने के लिए है. इसका मतलब है द वेरी फर्स्ट आसमान पे तुम जब हो तो वो जो पावर तुमको दिया गया है वो जाहिरी तौर पे इस्तेमाल करने के लिए नहीं है, बल्कि तुमको जो है वो इंटेलेक्चुअल और रूहानियत के अंदर लोगों को किस तरह ऊपर लाना है, उसके लिए तुम्हें जो है वो ये पावर दिया गया था.
Dr. Bhai, wasn't there another story or example where somebody was close to Pochawata, was close to Imam Sultan Muhammad. When he passed away, Mullah said that he took 10,000 souls with him.
Yeah, possibly.
Right? So that's the work of the silent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
You attain that level, you take the souls with you.
Yes.
With you.
Yes.
Subhanallah, that's a good example, yeah.
Just a comment, I think back to what Kayal was saying earlier, you were talking about Imam is not just, he's Imam for us, but he is teaching religions. And I believe that firmly believe that through his speeches, through his lectures that he gives to outside, when Imam does a lot of work outside, right?
जी.
And so I truly believe that he is teaching them.
Yes,
And
बेशक.
there are people who are probably learning, maybe not becoming Ismailis, I'm not saying that, but they are definitely learning.
Definitely. Yes.
On that path of humanity and the way Imam is doing things, so
Definitely.
I firmly believe it.
Yeah, he's a role model, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just Ismailis that recognize this.
मेरे पे हो सकता है कि हमसे ज़्यादा दूसरे लोग फायदा उठाते हो.
Yeah.
I'm talking about from these speeches.
Yes.
Yeah.
हम इमाम के speeches को इस तरह से सुनते हैं. To a moment,
It's a firman.
Imam's every word is a farman. It could be through the speech or in a meeting or in Jamaatana or in Darbar, wherever. Imam's every word is a farman to a moment.
I'll tell you a funny story. So there is a guy, Hakim sort of, Neem Hakim होता है. तो वो उसके पास लोग जाते हैं आंखों की क्या बोलते हैं इलाज के लिए. तो वो एक ब्राउन कलर का पानी है, उसको बोतल में देता है, बोलता है इसके अंदर थोड़ा सा कॉटन बॉल डालना और अपनी आंखों में लगा देना तो तुम्हारी आंखें ठीक हो जाएगी. तो लोग आते हैं और आंखें जो उसकी ठीक हो जाती है रोजाना, राइट. तो एक इस्माइल इसके पास जाता है और उसको भी आंखों में जो है वो दर्द होता है, तो उसको भी सेम चीज़ देता है. तो बोलते हैं कि ये जब इस्माइल इसके पास जाता है तो बोलते हैं कि तू मेरे पास क्यों आया है. तो बोलते हैं मेरी आंखों के अंदर दर्द हो रहा है और सबकी आंखों को दर्द ठीक करने के लिए तू ये ब्राउन कलर का पानी देता है, तो मैं भी तेरे पास आया हूँ. तो बोलता है कि वो गांडा, बोलते हैं पागल आदमी है, अरे तेरे इमाम ने तुमको फरमान के अंदर कहा है कि चाय का पानी बॉईल करके उसको जो है वो ड्रेन क्या बोलते हैं उसको फिल्टर करके फिर उसको ठंडा हो जाए तो अपनी आंखों के अंदर डालना तो तुम्हारी आंखें जो है वो ठीक हो जाए. तो तुम्हारे इमाम ने जो फॉर्मूला दिया है उसको मैं लोगों के ऊपर डाल रहा हूँ और लोगों को ठीक हो रहा है, और तू मेरे पास आया है अपनी आँख ठीक करने के लिए, तेरे को तेरे इमाम के फरमान पे कोई भरोसा नहीं है. तो लोग जो है वो हमारे इमाम के फरमान को लेते हैं और इसको प्रैक्टिकली यूज करते हैं, जबकि हमको मिलता है और हम जो है वो इसको टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड करते हैं.
So I do want to answer Alia's question when you were asking about 49, beta. 49, and you were saying why 49 times Noor, right? Because Hazrat Imam is 49th Imam. And Quran is a perfect book. So what does it tell you? Something more about 49 Noor references in Quran and Hazrat Imam. Something we need to learn more. We have to ask.
Yeah, the question you are asking
very
about
yes.
Our pay grade.
Do you realize that? I have to stop you because whatever you ask, it's like, it's not this level the way he said, right? That what he was telling, it's 10th level and we are sitting at first level.
Why don't you come to...
she can't come regularly.
10th grade class, because there a lot of your question can be answered.
But she's trying. She's trying.
Okay?
So, but you are listening to lectures I'm sending, right? Good,
Yeah.
good.
But everything you ask, we are not ignoring. We will share a lecture or article with
So
you.
all these questions have answered, Ali. I hope I know I do not want to discourage you. But my problem is that these questions cannot be answered right now here. I need the list the way you used to send me. Send me the list. When the right time comes, when we are at that grade. Right now it's above our pay grade. We have not reached that level. We are so down here. We need to get to that level to get that answer to give it to you. Stay with us. Okay?
We are trying to learn with you.
We are trying. Yes, Khayal? Yes, Khayal?
You have time to add a comment about? Because earlier you brought up verse 189 about it is not righteousness to enter from the back door. But the interesting about that verse is that it says that it is not righteousness to enter houses from the back. It doesn't use the word door here, so there is no door from the back really. And the word for back here is actually zokura, which comes from zahir. The back is the zahir. So it's not righteous to enter from the zahir, but righteousness is to fear Allah. So first fear, taqwa has to be first, and then enter houses from their doors. So obviously you know that it's not from the zahir you enter from the house, you enter from the batin, opposite zahir to the batin. So there's a door to the batin, that's where you have to enter from. And a few interesting things here is in Pir Nasir Crystals again, his Wajuddin, in part of the section where he talks about the Tawil of fasting, so I think chapter 33, part of it he mentions how in the daytime you don't eat the food, you wait until night, you bring this food into the nighttime, that's you collect it and you bring it at nighttime. And night stands for batin, and the daytime was the zahir, the external, which means that in ta'wil, or knowledge, you don't accept knowledge from the zahir of the sharia, you have to accept knowledge from the batin of the sharia. And here it says, don't enter houses to the zakur, the back, enter to the doors. But it also says houses and doors plural, which means there's houses and doors, which relates back to what you were talking about a few weeks ago about the Hudududdin, the whole hierarchy, right? The 12 steps. So there's multiple houses and doors we have to find to enter the house of wisdom.
Subhanallah. I hope you understood what he's saying. And this is one understanding, okay, Khayal? There is more to it. There's more to it. I hope you got your answer when he said night. Hira means night, meaning it's a door we need to find.
A couple of days ago we were doing ayat and we gave understanding of that ayat. Then next day we were doing same ayat and we give another understanding of that ayat. And I asked, I said, you guys need to write it down. That last week or yesterday you told us this meaning of this ayat. And today you are giving me this meaning of this ayat. Because if you don't write it down or if you don't remember those meanings, there could be a confusion in your head that yesterday he told us about this ayat and he said this. Today he's saying this. And then there was a third interpretation or understanding of that same ayat. Because each ayat on the different level would have a different understanding. So if I was telling this story of Muhammad to you when we get to the 10th grade, you think the story will be the same?
No.
It cannot be. It cannot be. Right? So what I'm trying to say is, that's why it's so important for us to have paper and pencil and write down so we can say, okay, so on the first grade this was the understanding, second grade this was the understanding, 10th grade this is the understanding. Because what we are saying to you, that we are not teacher and you are not student, we are all here going to be teachers one day.
Inshallah.
If you don't learn the skill of explaining on different levels, you may go to somebody and start teaching them on the 10th level, 10th grade, and then that person will never come back to you next time because he will not understand what you are saying. So we need to understand the knowledge on the levels. Easy to understand, easy to digest, it will be not hard on your tummy. It will be easy. Gee.
Riyaz, yeah? How did you like today's?